There's so many people and so many characters involved that you're almost sure it's not going to work. But it does! Hey everybody, welcome to Draw It 2. My name's Ramny, and today we're going to finally talk about Captain America Civil War. This is the first in what I hope to be an ongoing series in my YouTube channel where I watch movies and I review them. And what better way to start the series than with Captain America Civil War, one of my most anticipated movies. The way I'm going to break this down, I'm going to talk about the things that worked and talk about the things that didn't work after that. So let's get started. Number one, the plot. In the movie, Tony Stark signs the Accords, which essentially gives the Avengers accountability. Tony Stark, because of the guilt that he felt with Ultron, he decides to sign it, but Captain America sees it as impeding on civil liberties and their freedom and does not sign it, so that's what starts this whole thing. That conflict worked. You can see both sides, Iron Man's side and Captain America's side. There is no clear villain over here. And that's what I love, because over the past couple of years we've seen all these characters and we have loved all of them, and we just hate to see them arguing with each other. So sometimes you're on Team Cap and sometimes you're on Team Iron Man, and that's totally fine because the movie does a really good job of making you flip-flop as to who is right and who isn't. And that goes into number two, the conflict. The conflict is heartfelt. You know exactly where they're coming from, so you sympathize with them so much more. Number three thing that worked is the introduction to the characters of Black Panther and Spider-Man. Going into this movie, I'm sure a lot of us were worried about saturation. There's too many characters fighting for screen time. How are they going to balance all of that? And then on top of that, they're gonna add Spider-Man and Black Panther as well. Guaranteed you guys will come out of this movie being huge fans of Black Panther and Spider-Man. The directors did a really good job of introducing T'Challa, Black Panther, into the mix. Black Panther has a story arc and you understand exactly where he's coming from. It's not his origin movie. He already comes in pretty much as is. And same thing goes with Spider-Man. In this film, he's already been Spider-Man out in the streets, and then he meets Tony Stark and the Avengers in this movie, already formed, I guess you could say. Spider-Man was amazing, and if you guys have been keeping up with all of the reviews, so many rave reviews about Tom Holland as Spider-Man, and they are right, you guys. This is probably the best Spider-Man that we have seen, and I'm not just saying that to repeat everybody else. He is a really good Peter Parker, and he is a really good Spider-Man. Tom Holland has that really good mix of awkward, witty, and just kind of annoying, but at the same time, just really agile. And their skill set, you guys. Black Panther, like I said, is a mix between a ninja and a cat. So imagine that. That's the Black Panther. And it is amazing to see on screen. And Spider-Man, you guys, is exactly as he should be. He's witty, he's kind of annoying, but he is also really clever. He's a huge part of the airport scene that everyone's talking about, and he shines in that one. Number four, the story arc for many of the characters worked in such a personal level that you can't help but sympathize with any of them. Like I said, you understand why Captain America is doing what he is. You can tell that he's got a really strong friendship with Bucky, and that's pretty much what motivates this movie, and that's the reason why, even though there's so many Avengers in this movie, it still feels like a Captain America movie, because at the root of it all is Captain America's relationship with Bucky. And speaking of Bucky, I feel like he's got a lot more to do in this one. He was a little bit more of a badass in Captain America the Winter Soldier, in my opinion, but in this one you kind of get to see Bucky's story as well, and so it fleshes out his character a little bit more, and you understand also where he's coming from. And you guys, there's Tony Stark, and even though he's portrayed as sort of the antagonist to Captain America, I feel like he's got the strongest story arc between him and Captain America. In this one, he's more like an older Tony Stark, where he's kind of matured. With this one, I feel like I'm invested more in Tony Stark's character arc, because, and I won't spoil anything for him, it gets really, really personal. And I honestly have to say that the Tony Stark in this movie is a better Tony Stark than the Tony Stark in Iron Man 2 or Iron Man 3. With this one, he's just so much more fleshed out than he was in those two movies. Number five, the action is so good. People are calling it the best superhero action movie. Of course, I'm talking about the airport scene. And I do have to say that in that action scene, there's so much happening and each character is given their moment to shine in the spotlight. The creativity that the directors put in just blending together all the different powers and skill sets that all these heroes have. For example, in the trailer, you saw Hawkeye with Ant-Man on the arrow, just like in the comics. That's just one example of two heroes putting their abilities together to do something really cool and creative. There are tons of surprises in this action scene alone, and even though you see so much of it in the trailers, you haven't seen all of it, you guys. You have not seen all of it. Number six of things that worked was the humor, and I'm surprised at how funny this movie is considering the deepness of the subject matter. Even though Iron Man is a lot more serious than he was, he's still pretty witty. Spider-Man is hilarious, Ant-Man is hilarious, but I think what caught me the most by surprise is the banter between Bucky and Falcon. And I think my favorite scene of them two together is them in the Volkswagen Beetle. That is so funny. And lastly, number 7 of what worked is their setting up of Phase 3. Not so much Avengers Infinity War, although I really do want to see that eventually, but more so with Black Panther's standalone movie, Spider-Man's standalone movie, and Ant-Man and the Wasp. Captain America Civil War was like a tease for those characters. You get to see Black Panther, Spider-Man, and Ant-Man explore all of their abilities, and you cannot wait to see more of them because they're just engaging as characters in general. Having said all that, not everything worked for me personally, so now here's a list of the things that did not work in Captain America Civil War. Number 1, the villain. The villain was good. I just would not rather call him Baron Zemo. The villain character was portrayed pretty sympathetically, and you feel for him and his motivations, but he just did not feel like Baron Zemo. I was more interested in the Iron Man Captain America conflict than the Avengers and Baron Zemo conflict. I just didn't feel like the plot was strong enough, and you don't want to think about it too much because it starts to fall into, similar to how I felt with Lex Luthor's plot in Batman v Superman, where if you think about it too hard, it starts to kind of crumble. And number 2 thing that I didn't like so much was just not having Pepper Potts around. Really similar to how they treated Jane Foster in Avengers Age of Ultron. They make excuses for Pepper Potts not being there. And yeah, I kind of understand it, but at the same time, it's just, yeah. I just want to say before I continue that I just feel like I'm nitpicking with this one because it's such a great movie that these are just tiny little nitpicks. But let's move on to the next one. And the next one is just the romance. Steve Rogers is cursed with not having a lot of romance in his life. And in this movie, the romance just felt kind of forced. I honestly feel like it didn't have to be there to move the plot forward. Number 4 is just the waste of Martin Freeman. And if you guys know who Martin Freeman is, he's amazing as Watson, he's amazing as Bilbo Baggins. And in this movie, he just felt wasted. So I'm hoping that eventually we get to see more of him in Phase 3, but in this movie, it just felt like a glorified cameo, and it just didn't do much for me. And lastly, the CGI in certain parts, particularly in the beginning with Robert Downey Jr.'s face. You'll know what I mean when you watch the movie. And in the middle of the movie, there's Spider-Man. There were some parts where the CGI was just too evident that it kind of took me out of the story. So that's it, you guys. That's my review of Captain America Civil War. I hope you guys enjoyed the drawing that I just did, but more importantly, I hope you guys enjoyed the movie as much as I did. So question of the day, have you seen Captain America Civil War? What was your favorite thing about that movie? Non-spoilers, let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Use the hashtag DrawIt2 to showcase any of your artwork in any of those social media sites. Thanks for listening, you guys, and again, as always, stay tuned for more so you can learn to draw it too. We'll see you next time.